Hello. So this is my first YouTube video, especially related to books. I've been thinking about doing this for a while. I love booktube. It's been incredibly interesting to me for many years now, and I have thought about doing this for a while. And some recent videos I've seen on YouTube have made me decide to finally give it a try. So I will apologize for the incredibly low quality of this video. I may invest further into this. I have not decided yet. The majority of my content will be related to books and other bookish things. Of course, I could always talk about further subjects if people are interested. I guess the first thing I can do is show some books I've been reading. I've been on a rereading kick recently. Actually, I like rereading books a lot, so it's something I do quite frequently. There's something about the experience of reading a book when you're a very young man or a kid, and then reading it again 5-10 years later, or even multiple times throughout your life, and how that book is a different experience for you every time, that I find quite interesting. And so I continue to do it. I reread books a lot. And one of these it'll be very obvious. I guess something of note also is that I don't have a ton of books, hard copies. I mean, I guess I own quite a bit of them, but generally speaking, I buy books digitally. So I'll have to work on that and on my editing, so then I could show covers of these digital books. Of course, somebody I watch and respect a lot, Steve Donahue, also agrees that digital books are pretty great. So, but I will go and show some things I've been reading. The Three Musketeers. I read this probably like 2 weeks ago. This is one of my favorite books ever. As you can see, I've read it several times now. That thing it's gonna fall apart soon. I probably should get a new copy. Another book, I was inspired to read this again. It's one of my favorite books ever. This is Shogun. I like this. I like the cover to this. Granted, it's the TV show cover. The TV show was pretty good, and so it made me want to read the book again. And then this is a nonfiction book. This is a French from dialect to standard. Outside of books, I have an interest in linguistics and learning languages. French being the main one. I've also spent a lot of time learning Spanish. I wouldn't say I'm particularly good at them, but I can do it. I'm out of practice, but I also like just linguistics in general. And the study of language, how languages change, and in particular is interesting to me. So it's kind of a strange hobby of mine. You may frequently see some of those, but those are probably the things I've read in the last couple of weeks. And then I guess I'll show you a couple of my buddies here. That's the Blue Boys. Excuse the laundry on the couch. That's the Blue Boy. And then that's Bella. She's a good girl. Anyway, so you may see them from time to time. I should do one of those new booktuber tags. I know recently I've seen people do the personal canon, and maybe I understand canon a little bit differently than some other people. To me, a canon is what started, where, and the continuation of said thing. So canon, generally, at least in pop culture, refers to what, the order of things, right? Maybe I'll use Dragon Ball as an example. When people refer to the canon of Dragon Ball, they refer to episode 1 to episode, to the end, which is like roughly 270 episodes or whatever, right? And the whole idea of that is how it evolves over time. So, we talk about my personal canon. The first book that I read ever that I truly loved was Tarzan of the Apes as a kid. I read that thing and fell in love with that book. That's another book I've read to pieces. I read I believe the entire series. I could check on that. I know I read at least the first 10 or 12 of them. I feel like there's one I missed in that series. I could be wrong about that, though. There's some, lost stories or something at the end. I think that came out after Edgar Rice Burroughs died. I need to look into that. I could be wrong about that, so I apologize if that's incorrect. And then another book that's been very influential in my life is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, which was at the time when I was in high school. I picked it off the shelf because it was the smallest book there. And then I read it and loved it. So like those two books for me would be the start of my canon, because those are the things that made me love reading. And granted, my reading taste would change. Another author I loved when I was very young, who I don't read anymore, is William Johnstone, who wrote tons of Westerns. I love them. I read them all. I read so many of them, I would pick them up at later dates and not realize I'd already read that one, be 100 pages in, and then just continue reading it. Once I even realized I had already read this book, because I couldn't remember the titles to them all, because they're all, the same. But I loved them. They were a lot of fun. I have a bunch of them here. Maybe I'll show those off sometimes. I should reread some of those. Those were really fun books. I got away from Westerns, but I'll still read them, here and there. So, of course, Lonesome Dove is one of my favorite books ever. That's a Western. So, anyway, so again, I apologize for the quality of the video. I may invest in a camera. And sorry, I'm petting my dog here. So, and excuse the mess of laundry that was on the couch earlier too. But yeah, so I might invest in a camera and maybe set up something to record better videos. But the idea here, for me at least, is just that, be in a community, other people, other human beings who also like books, which is rare in my life. I don't know a single other person who reads besides my grandma. And she reads totally different books than me. She reads good stuff. I've read lots of her books. But maybe like Greg Iles. She reads a bunch of Greg Iles. And I like Greg Iles a lot. So I'll take some of her books sometimes and read them. Like Not Just Burning was a great book. I thought it was a lot of fun, at least. I mean, it's not, no literary masterpiece or anything like that. But I can get more into my book tastes and stuff. I have a pretty interesting reading history, I think. Generally, I kind of like pulpy stuff. My favorite author is Bernard Cornwell. That's what I'm reading right now, which I didn't show here because I'm reading it digitally, is the Winter King trilogy. The Warlord Chronicles, I think is what it's called. All three books are called. The first book's called The Winter King. I've read it once before, but it was like 10 years ago, and I'm reading it again because I just love Bernard Cornwell. I want to reread all his books as well. My second favorite author is Wilbur Smith. If you don't know who Wilbur Smith is, he writes a bunch of books that are set in Africa and all over the place in history, but generally, he goes even further back than that, about the 1600s and up to like World War II, and all these books set in Africa. They're really great books, fun action adventure stories. Those are probably my two favorites. Who else do I like a lot? My favorite book ever is War and Peace. So I guess I should just put that out there. I've read War and Peace probably like 4 or 5 times. I could have brought a copy. I have that here. I could show off some books I have. I got a bookshelf with a bunch of stuff on it, but I wouldn't say my collection is particularly impressive or anything. Anyway, so I should have thought this video out a little bit better, but this was just to get me started, put something up, come up with a fun YouTube name. All right. Thank you, YouTube. Goodbye.